in essence, they're going to prevent them from doing some double and triple. Well, definitely prevent them from triple dipping, and certainly double dipping as well. But I don't think lenders are going to want to file a lawsuit and then have to disclose all that information and documents, because that won't go well for public relations.
And that's the other thing that a lot of sellers don't understand when I tell them, "Oh, you have mortgage insurance." Like, no, I don't. I've never paid for mortgage insurance. I don't have mortgage insurance. Yes, you do. And that's always the surprise in the bottom of the Cracker Jack box that I just love when we get to the bitter end there and we find out there's mortgage insurance involved. So,
or the person they think owns their loan never actually did. And we had some pretty funny stuff that pops up.
Well, you remember you went in there and you signed a stack of papers this big, and you read about this much of it. Mm-hmm. So,
Well, and even if you read it, unless you're practicing the area of real estate, you know what you're reading.
No, you're just in there signing where your name says to sign, and that was what you were reading. Yeah. So, it's sad, but we have to do something about it. And the answer is get the house listed. You can't keep it, get it listed, get it sold. Don't suffer foreclosure if you don't have to. There's no reason to.
And the other thing I've had, and you can share your experience with this too, but we have a lot of homeowners that we look at them for loan modification options. Mm-hmm. And one of the government-backed programs is that it has to be your payment has to be more than 31% of your gross. And there's a lot of people where 31% of their gross is actually an affordable payment, mm-hmm. but because they've got medical expenses, they've got kids in college, and they have all these other financial hardships and legal obligations. So mm-hmm. this isn't just extravagant spending.
Right.
It's, we have all these other issues going on. We want to be able to sell the home. I've had a lot of people come in saying, well, we can't do a short sale because our payment is less than 31% of gross. And of course I tell them, no. That's a qualification to get a loan mod. It is not a qualification for a short sale.
Correct. And there is misconception about that. So
what has your experience been as far as examples of hardships where someone did have, a $1,400 mortgage, for example, and they're making $6,000 in income? That's an affordable mortgage.
It's affordable, but at the same time, the big factor is the life problems that these people have had. Mm-hmm. There could have been divorce, there could have been death, there could have been ill family members that they're now taking care of.
Right.
And as long as you can document that and prove it, and you have to prove it, because on your financial sheet, if you're saying that you're putting down $2,000 a month for care of your ill mother and she's in a home, they want that information.
Right.
So those are true cases of people who have legitimate problems, hardships, they have to help family members. I'm getting those people short sales approved.
Right.
It's all about doing the right thing. We've always talked about this. You just, you got to do the right thing. If you are legitimately having a problem, you're going to qualify.
Right.
It has to be your primary residence. Now, yes, I have done a few where they have been rental income, but because the seller's hardship is so dramatic,
right,
they've allowed the short sale of the investment property.
Right.
So you've just got to prove it,
Right.
Be honest.
And unless you are doing a strategic default and are trying to hide your assets, what's the worst thing that can happen by trying to do the short sale? They say no.
They say
and
no.
You're in no better
Position.
or worse position at that point.
No.
At that point, then you can look at other alternatives, either doing the mediation program, which sometimes goes hand in hand with the short sale process, bankruptcy, other options that are out there.
Right.
But
and I have noticed that the mediation process has helped the short sale process.
Oh yeah,
because
definitely.
if they do not want to do the mediation, they say, go get an agent, go list the house.
Right.
Okay, great.
Right. Well, and it stops. I mean, I've had lots of clients we've represented in mediation where they go in saying, okay, I can only afford this much. So if the loan mod they offer doesn't come back at this, then I want to do a short sale. And so it does kind of give them two bites at the apple, so to speak, in getting a resolution, because if they just immediately jump into short sale, they don't know what that loan mod would have come out to be.
Correct.
By the same token, I do have some that want a full principal reduction down to market value. Don't laugh. I have a lot of people that they expect that to be the outcome.
Well,
and ironically, I've gotten pretty decent principal balance reductions, but not enough to get it down to actual fair market value. I've never had that happen.
No.
And a lot of people, if they don't get a full reduction, they don't want to keep it. And I kind of say, well, you might as well go see, because the deal changes all the time.
Every time.
And 1 month, no principal reductions. The next month, they might be blindly doing them. I mean, and so why shortcut yourself that option? the other thing I have found too is that a lot of times, if you do have the property listed and you are dealing with one of the banks that are less sophisticated in processing short sales, electing mediation will greatly lengthen the time period that your real estate agent has to try to hammer that through.
Yes, and get you an offer and get it done.
Right.
That does help. And speaking of going back and negotiating things, I'm on my 5th negotiation on a property, and every time I've gotten the approval, it's come back a different way. So you know what? You can't give
It doesn't
up.
hurt.
It doesn't hurt. Just if they say no the first time, they'll probably say yes the second time, or maybe the third time.
I find that too. I call banks all the time, and I start talking to someone. I can tell that they're not too enthusiastic about their job, and I'll say thank you very much, and hang up, call back, get another one.
That's right. You'll always find somebody else that's more reasonable to talk to and work with.
Enthusiastic, that's what I like to say. They're very enthusiastic about their job. So I know we've got a lot of people that are listening. If there's anybody has any questions, please feel free to go ahead and post them, and we'll answer them. Otherwise, we'll just keep chatting about things that we think are important for everyone to learn and know. But we'll take any questions that you all have. So fire away. One of the questions I always get is if I do the short sale and I list the property and I get my offer and the bank comes back and they say, we'll approve your short sale, but we will not waive deficiency. And even after I get on the phone and point out all the reasons and obvious things that they should do to waive the deficiency because of either the homeowner's hardship or the financial status or the mere factor that they're eligible for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, in which case the property will be, disposed of.
Right.
And that means they have to complete a foreclosure if they're not willing to take a deed in lieu to take the property back, and they're going to take it at a significant loss compared to the short sale. But a lot of times people say, well, what if that does happen? What if the bank just will not give the deficiency waiver and I have to file bankruptcy? Aren't I, what happens to my real estate agent? So why don't you answer how that works from your end?
From my end, I have to say I'm pretty successful in getting their waiver. But if not, I've explained to my clients, listen, either way you're going to end up in a foreclosure and a bankruptcy. So why not go through with your short sale, be done with it, and see if they're going to come after you. Just because they say they are doesn't mean they're going to, And at that point, it's really the person's personal experience. And I have a lot of my clients who'll just say to me, it doesn't matter, Joni, if they're not going to release me, my ultimate goal is going to go ahead and get rid of my credit card debt now and everything else that I've been trying to get caught up and pay. Let's get the short sale done, and then we'll go talk to the attorney.
Okay.
So I think that's the mindset of everybody right now. Everybody wants to try to get a clean start.
Right.
We've all been listening to all these new programs that are out there already. I almost feel like the subprime market's already creeping back in. You got 20% down, you can buy one day out of short sale.
Yeah.
So, it's worth the try. You got to try. You can't just sit there.
Yeah. And one of the things I just point out to you, just from a bankruptcy practitioner standpoint, a lot of times because of this means test that we have to do for a bankruptcy, the debtor's income can make a difference between whether they can do a 7 or a 13. 13 is a reorganization of debt and a repayment plan. And so when we calculate that income, if they're over the means for Nevada based on their family size, we take out certain deductions. Obviously, the income taxes that get withheld from your check, health insurance, some of these other types of necessary things, any child support payments, stuff like that. Those all come out. The other thing that comes out, and that usually makes a huge difference for most debtors, is that secured debt payment on the home. So if you've got a $3,000 mortgage and you're making $8,000 a month in income and you're a single person family, well, you're going to be over the means, but that secured debt deduction is going to substantially change your eligibility. So for certain debtors or borrowers, they definitely should go and talk to someone about a bankruptcy to see whether or not that secured debt payment is going to make an issue for them. Now, I've assisted plenty of homeowners with short sale where I said, look, it doesn't matter either way, you're good. You're going to be able to do a Chapter 7. So let's, why not do the short sale, like you said.
Right.
If you can't get the deficiency waiver, obviously that's what we would ideally strive for. If we can get the deficiency waiver, then you can avoid bankruptcy entirely. But at the same time, some of the changes to the law, changes to statute of limitations, I think more people are going to be encouraged to try to do the short sale even if they don't necessarily have the deficiency language that they're looking for.
Right.
But so anyone out there that is contemplating doing a short sale, but in the back of your mind thinking bankruptcy as well, go, we do free bankruptcy consultations, so that it's not going to cost you anything other than the time to collect the documents and fill out the worksheets.
And it's not going to cost them anything but me coming out and giving them a comparative market analysis so they know where they are. And,
Right.
And
Right.
there's their decision making right there.
Yeah, and a lot of this it comes down to who the lender is that you're dealing with so much, and that's just, unfortunately, that's not a variable that you can change. And the servicer is who the servicer is, and the investor is who the investor is, and you're stuck with their regulations.
And I've noticed the cleaner of the package you submit to the bank,
Mm-hmm.
the better you are. If you don't submit everything all at once that they're
yeah.
looking for, you're wasting that person's time. That person is sitting at their desk with a stack of files this high. So that's important to,
Right.
we've talked about this before, choose the right agent. Choose someone who's knowledgeable in doing these short sales, knows how to package this information,
Right.
get it to the bank so that when that negotiator sits there and opens up that file and they've got their checklist, they can just go right down, hardship letter, financial statement, tax returns, bank statements. It's all there, pay
Right.
stubs. You don't want to piecemeal this stuff.
Right, and there's also quality of the documents. I mean, one of the things we run into all the time is, people get so used to doing online banking
Mhm.
that they'll print out their activity sheets from their online account. That's not a bank statement.
Not acceptable.
And they won't take it, and
No.
bankruptcy trustees won't take it either. So I get into that frequent discussion, and some people have been doing online banking for a decade.
Yeah.
They don't even remember what a real bank statement looks like, and then
They're
I
not
kind of
doing
show
one.
them how to go into their accounts and get it.
Right.
So let's see, we do have a couple of questions on here, so let's go ahead and look at that.
Okay.
If there's a mortgage insurance and it pays the lender, will the owner be liable to the insurance company? Can this be dealt with in a short sale? The answer is yes and yes. I actually do have a couple of clients that have been sued by PMI. Actually, one that was from out of state. So they can sue you anywhere you reside as a defendant. They have to follow their state's laws with regards to the pursuit of the deficiency. But yes, PMI companies have a subrogation right usually built within their clause, so that even if the lender lets you out of the deal and tenders on that claim, the PMI company will have to pay under that policy, but they have a subrogation right to collect. So anytime there's PMI, you want them at the table with regards to the short sale, because ultimately really want a deficiency waiver.